have 23 Christmas book recs for you guys, and half of them I have read, and half of them are on my TBR. I'm so excited for this video because I love Christmas so much, and I'm already in the Christmas mood, as you guys can see from all these books. I'm gonna share these recs, but if you guys hear any noise in the background, just know they are doing like construction on my road. Of course, they decided to do it today, so I apologize for that, but this video will make up for the noise with all the incredible recs. Again, we have tons of diverse reads. We also have reads that I feel like you probably haven't heard of before. We have some popular books with my personal thoughts on them as to whether I like them or not. We also have tons of books that I feel like have depth, that are cutesy, that are spicy, that are funny, and they're all gonna be categorized. So like if you like a certain type of book, you can easily find the type of Christmas book that you're looking for. So let's get into this video, and I hope you guys enjoy. We are gonna start out with the spicy Christmas books first. I feel like so many of you guys love reading spicy books during the holiday season, and I feel like I like to read spice more during the holidays than like other times, mostly because I'm not really like, I don't care too much about the plot with Christmas books for the most part. I will say there are some Christmas books that I have in this stack that have a lot of depth, but these are the ones that are just like spice, a little bit of storyline, but just kind of like unhinged type of like story. First one is 'Tis the Season for Revenge. Now this one was not my favorite because it was too spicy, but I know one of you guys are gonna absolutely eat it up. This is by Megan Quinn. It is very funny, so if you like funny books, and I almost wanted to put it in the funny section, but I decided not to just because I feel like the spice is definitely, it's definitely spicy. This one is one about Abby, who she kind of like thought she had her life all together and then it just all fell apart. So I think she ends up trying to look for a date to this like holiday Christmas party, and she ends up starting to date the founding partner of her ex-boyfriend's law firm, and her like only thing in mind is to convince him to take her to the Christmas party. So of course on the back it says, but when the relationship starts to become something more than casual dating and Abby sees that the tough New York City lawyer has a soft side, will she be able to follow through with her plan of deceit? Of course you knew that that was gonna happen with like the Christmas vibes. It's just literally giving like, it's stereotypical, but I feel like you will really like this if you like spicy books. Another book that is spicy that I really loved is Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. Now this is the author who wrote the like super popular like book talk book. I can't remember what it's called. It's like about like a fisherman or something like that, but I really like this one. This one's about a girl who, she has like a past, like she's kind of like running from something, and she ends up getting this job at this like window shopping place where she's like decorating the windows, and she has had the hardest time getting a job because of her past, and she gets the job honestly by happenstance, but she finds out that the person who hires her, she has feelings for him, and he was actually the one who kind of like facilitated her getting this job. So she's like, I don't want to mess up the job that I have. This is the best job I've ever had. And you can see like the push and pull of him like being her boss and like all the things. So it looks like super cutesy and fluffy, but it definitely does have spice, but it also has like a good storyline too, which I feel like is what I like when it comes to spicy books for the most part. I will say for Christmas, I do kind of throw that to the wayside a bit. Another spicy book is Highway Holiday by Lani Lane. This one is only like 49 pages, and I genuinely do not even remember what this is about. I know like a snowstorm happens, and then I think she ends up like snowed in with this guy, and I think they're taking like a road trip. I want to say he's like a artist or something. Like he's on a tour bus, and they are like on this tour bus together riding to this town, I think to see her family, and then the tour bus ends up getting snowed in. You can imagine what happens when they get snowed in. And again, it's only, it's like less than 50 pages. So I feel like you'll really like this one. And then we have a queer read, which this one's really cute, but super spicy. It's called Set the Record Straight by Hannah Bonham Young. This was actually my first book by Hannah Bonham Young that I've ever read. And I really liked her writing in the sense that like, I don't know, there's a lot of dialogue with it in the story. This one is a fake dating childhood friends to lovers story. If you like those stories, I feel like you will absolutely eat this one up. This one, I feel like I finished it really, really fast. Again, it is only like 160 pages or something like that. And then Merry Inkmas by Talia Hibbert. This is by a Black author. This one is super spicy. It's about a girl who is working at a tattoo shop. And her boss ends up being someone that she like starts to have feelings for, but she like doesn't want to open herself up. This one does have some depth in it as well, but again, it is very spicy. And then let's get into the funny books. These are the books that'll like literally make you laugh out loud. The first one is Baggage Claim, and I never hear anyone talking about this. I read this a few years ago, and I really like this one. I don't remember exactly what it's about, but I do remember how I felt reading it, and I really loved it. It's about a girl who hasn't been to her hometown for 3 years, but her mom calls her to come back. Oh, I remember! She ends up like talking to this guy on the plane, and he's on the way to her hometown as well, and I think she ends up telling her mom that she's bringing her boyfriend with her. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. She tells her mom that she's bringing her boyfriend with her. She doesn't have a boyfriend, so she's on the plane with this guy. She's like, hey, can you be my fake boyfriend? And he's like, sure, I'll be your fake boyfriend. So he decides to be your fake boyfriend, but they have feelings. Like, they start to have feelings for each other, and she just is like I'm leaving. Like, I'm not staying here. Like, I don't want to stay in this town, and Olive and Finn, they spend the next 2 weeks together, and they do all these like Christmassy things. So if you like books that have lots of like Christmassy events where they go do Christmassy stuff, this one you have to pick up. And again, this one I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but it's one I really, really liked. And actually on the front, Lynn Painter wrote, hilarious and heartwarming, Baggage Claim is rom-com gold. You will laugh out loud with this one. Another book that I feel like has been pretty popular is Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. This is one that you will actually like truly laugh out loud for. This one, I feel like I literally forget every single Christmas romance until I start like kind of like looking over the back. This is about Molly and Andrew. They're trying to get home to Ireland for the holidays, and then a snowstorm grounds their flight. So they do all these like wild things to get back home. Like everything under the sun. And for Molly, like, she just is like, I do not want to miss Christmas, like, you know, and nothing is more romantic than being stuck with someone while you're traveling. So you get to see all their mishaps in this, and it says, what she doesn't know is that as the snow falls over the city and over the heads of two friends who are sure they're not meant to be together, the universe might just have a plan of its own. A totally gorgeous and escapist friends to lovers festive romance with a swoon-worthy hero. Perfect for fans of Sophie Kinsella and Christina Lauren and Mari McFarlane. So funny, you will like it if you like to laugh. And books that have no spice or very minimal spice are these books right here. And the first one is You Make It Feel Like Christmas. This one does not have any spice at all. And I'm pretty sure that this one is I want to say it's like a Christian Christmas romance. So if you're looking for something like that, I read it last year. It was cutesy, it was fun. Do not remember what it was about at all. Like, literally don't remember. I just remember feeling like ooey gooey and like enjoyed the fluffy feels that I got. Another book is Royal Holiday by Jasmine Guillory, and both of these are by Black authors. This book, I remember feeling like it was a little slow, but if you like books that have like more description in the storyline, you could like this one. I normally love Jasmine Guillory's books. I've read like 5 of her books, I'm pretty sure. But this one in particular, I feel like it just was a little bit slower. Literally thinking about it is making me yawn. But this one is about a girl. I'm pretty sure she is like the PR guy or something, or PR girl for the like Prince of England or something like that, and they end up starting to fall for each other. I think that's what it's about. I also read All's Fair in Love and Christmas. I don't remember spice in this book. If there was, it would be minimal, but I don't remember it being in there at all. This one is about 2 workplace rivals. They have like a festive competition with each other, and they're definitely rivals, and you see that in this book. But romance starts to infiltrate their rivalry. And if you like rivals to lovers, it's definitely not enemies to lovers, but if you like a good rival-like situation, this one could be a cutesy one. And then the 12 Dates of Christmas, again, I don't remember if there's spice in this one, but I remember it gave more Hallmark vibes than like spice. This one, again, do not remember what it's about. Oh, I think I actually remember. It's about a girl, I think she's going on 12 different dates to find a boyfriend, and she's trying to find a boyfriend to bring home with her for Christmas. This one, actually really like this one. This one could have actually been in like the funny one because it actually made me laugh. Like the dates she went on and the guys she like talked to, they were just wild. And this could definitely be in like the funny book section. So if you like something that's like Hallmark vibes and like funny, I don't think it has spice, but if it does, it might be like very minimal. That's a good one. And then the Holiday Switch, this one doesn't have any spice, and this is YA. This is about a girl, Lila, who she's working at a bookstore or like Christmas store or something, and this guy that she like doesn't really care for, he just like crashes all her plans to have a fun, cutesy little like Christmas holiday job because he ends up having to work with her and they just do not get along. But I think he ends up getting her phone. They like switch phones by accident and he like sees some of her texts, so he like knows some of her secrets. And then I think she sees some of his and knows some of his secrets. So you find that out in this book. This one is one where they also do a lot of Christmassy things. So if you like books like that, you will like this one. They do a lot of like Christmas activities. And then these are the books that have more depth within them. I feel like if you are the type who doesn't really just like to read like a book that's just like Hallmarky and fluffy and you know what I mean, and you want something with more depth, you should definitely pick these up. The first one is One Day in December. This is one of my favorite Christmas reads, and I think I rated this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. Loved it, like absolutely loved it. I read it a few years ago and I still think about it. It's about two people who met and they like just had this like instant connection with each other. They like locked eyes. I want to say it was like on the subway. So it was definitely giving like Hallmark in that sense. And it was kind of like love at first sight, but then he ends up going one way, she ends up going another. You don't really know what happened. She's like looking for this guy like for years. She's like, I can't find him. Like I feel like he was like meant to be, like he's supposed to be like my like future husband or something. Like we locked eyes and just had that instant connection. And come to find out, she goes to her best friend's Christmas party, and what do you know, her best friend's new boyfriend is that guy. Now, did her best friend know that that guy was her, like, guy that she'd been looking for? Like, no, because she had never seen him before. And so you see the main character have this push and pull of being like, I feel like this person was, like, meant for me, and then they end up having this, like, connection in the way that they, like, communicate with each other and stuff, but obviously it's like her best friend, so she would never want to like mess that up. And this is told actually over 10 years and it actually feels so realistic to life. So if you like a story that's actually a good story, like is gonna give a good like deep romance, but it's like gonna be set at Christmas time, have very like Christmassy feels, pick this one up. It's probably one of my favorite Christmas reads and I will always recommend this one. In a Holidays, I think is also a really great book. This is by the author who wrote Love and Other Words. They're a great author duo. This one is about Malin, and she constantly has like the same day happen over and over and over again. And I know that's like kind of boring to some people, but it actually worked for me really well in this one. There are two brothers and she's kind of trying to decide like which boy she wants to choose. And they always go to this little cabin in Utah as a family and they have these like Christmassy activities that they do together. And it is really good. It kind of has such a deeper meaning to it, and I feel like the biggest thing that I pulled from this story was that like your decisions always lead you to where you're supposed to be, or at least that's kind of like the feeling that I got from this book. But it definitely is like funny, but it has deeper themes in it too. Now, one book that I wasn't really obsessed with, but I know a lot of people have enjoyed, so I did want to include it, is Love Like Farms by B.K. Borson. This one, to me, is a friends to lovers story that felt way too predictable. Like, there was a point in this book where, like, and I love friends to lovers. Like, I love that trope so much, but they were, like, best friends, and there was, like, a point where she's, like, laying in his lap, and they're, like, best friends and haven't even, like, shared that they have feelings for each other, and I'm like, sir, ma'am, you are acting like a couple. Like, they're just, some of the things that they were doing was like, they already seemed like they were together, but the storyline is really cool. They have to pretend to be together, I'm pretty sure, because there is a influencer who is coming to give publicity to this tree farm, and the tree farm is about to go under, and so I think she wants like to see like the romance in Christmas or something like that, and the person who owns the tree farm is like, I don't even have a boyfriend, like how am I gonna show her like romance and stuff like that? So she tries to make the tree farm be a great romantic destination, but to me I'm like, okay, like why do you feel like you need to like fake date your best friend to like give that? It just kind of gave like a little, I don't know, predictable. But I mean, I guess that's what Christmas books are for. Now, one of my favorite Christmas reads that is absolutely hilarious and has tons of depth, is the perfect combination for a Christmas book to read, is The Holidates by Brittany Cherry. I love this book so much. This was actually my first book by Brittany Cherry, and I ate it up. I rated this 4 stars, which is I think the highest book other than One Day in December that I've ever rated for a Christmas romance book. Just because usually Christmassy books are just like, they're just there, you know? Like they usually don't have a ton of depth. I'm not gonna come back to them. I'm probably not gonna recommend them a ton other than for Christmas. I would recommend this book outside of Christmas because it was that good. It is about Holly Jackson. She's always kind of been unlucky in love, and she, it says her fiance left her at the altar on Christmas Eve, and then there's a grumpy restaurant owner named Kai. He wants nothing to do with love. But Holly, she comes into his restaurant nightly with a different first date, and his annoyance starts to grow for her, like just being there. And so Kai, he volunteers to help Holly find a suitor, and he is like, the only reason for this is because I want her to get out of my restaurant. Like the faster she finds a boyfriend, the faster she's gonna be out of my restaurant, and she can like take a second date somewhere else because she always goes to this like place for her dates. And it says it was all great until Kai becomes increasingly jealous of the connection Holly developed with other men. The more Holly fell for Kai's pick for her, the more overprotective he becomes. Kai quickly realizes that all wasn't fair when it came to love in the holidays. He was gonna have to step up his game if he wanted a shot at the ultimate prize, being Holly's favorite date. So this is kind of one where like, he's like, I'll help you find a date. He helps her find a date. And then she's like, ooh, I like this guy. Thank you so much. And he's like, wait, I don't want you to go with this guy. Actually, like, skirt, let's go back and like revisit maybe me. And I just feel like this is a really good story for Christmas. It's spicy, but not too spicy. It has a deep storyline, but not too heavy. It is funny. It's like the great, perfect blend of everything. Now, I do have some books that are books I haven't read, and I want to grab those because I'm so excited for Christmas that I just feel like I have to show you guys these books too. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Christmas books. Now, I do feel like I need to start reading these now if I'm gonna read all of these, because some of these I picked up this year. I still wanna buy some this year, and then some I like had from last year. So I'm gonna show you guys these spicy books first. These are all of the spicy books, and I'm not gonna really tell you guys what they're about because I genuinely don't even know. I'll probably just read like a little blurb of the back, but I kind of like to go into books blind, so I don't want to spoil it for myself, you know what I mean? But this is called Christmas in Spite of You by Casey Mills. Recently picked this one up, and it says, a neat freak Scrooge and Christmas loving ball of chaos must coexist for a week, and the friction and separation that ensue make the most magical time of the year highly remarkable. And I never read anything by this author, but she's a Black author. Looks really good. The mistletoe motive, I'm pretty sure, is about a woman who, I want to say she's like in her 40s, I think. Which I love sharing books like that of like all different ages. I just have a really like great TBR for Christmas, I feel like. But I do need to start reading some of these because I don't think I'm going to spend all of December just reading Christmas books, you know? And this is like a lot of Christmas books. And I'll probably still buy more. But this says that this is the author of the Bergman Brothers series, and it's a slow burn enemies to lovers holiday romance, perfect for fans of The Hating Game and You've Got Mail. And then I recently picked up this book, How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. It does not come out until, October, so it probably just came out. I got this when I was in Kentucky for the Little Book Bash. This says, every Kringle in Kringletown celebrated Christmas a lot, but Coal Black on Whistler Lane unfortunately did not. And this is supposed to be super spicy. She said there's something in this book where a candy cane is used. So take that as you will, okay? Take that as you will. This one is a thick one though. It's like 450 pages, which sometimes I'm just like, do we need a Christmas book that long? I don't know, but it does start out, this first sentence is even kind of like spicy. So definitely a spicy read. And then I picked up Feast, and this is a book by Tanzania Glover. I have read Waiting on You by her and loved it, and so I want to pick up another book of hers. And I don't even know exactly what this is about, but I will read the back of this one. It says, being broke, virginal, and stuck on campus during Thanksgiving break would be a downer to just about any other student at Dawson University, but for freshman Lee Williams, it's all the right ingredients to finally make her move on evasive senior Monty McGee. Initially, whipping up the recipe seems easy enough, even for an amateur in the kitchen like herself, but Lee soon finds out that she's teased the right one for too long, and Monty's hunger for her might not be satisfied with just one bite. Tanzania Glover lives in Chicago, Illinois, and is the author of the soundtrack series, the Shut Up and the Dance series, and the Fade Fairy Tales. She's a blogger, pop culture critic. Find her on, and it shows her like media platform. This looks like a good one. This does look spicy though. The words are also huge, so keep that in mind. It's 159 pages, but like literally the words in this are massive. Like they look like an elementary school book, which is fine. Like I'll probably read this super, super fast. I also have two funny books. This is by the same author who wrote the other funny book that I was telling you about. I can't remember the name. Holiday Romance. I loved it so much that I picked up another book by her. This one says it's a swoon-worthy and utterly gorgeous romantic comedy that will make you laugh out loud and fall completely in love. For fans of Emily Henry, Sophie Kinsella, and Abby Jimenez won't be able to put this down. So again, I just had to pick up a funny book. I feel like this is the type of Christmas book that I also love. Books that make me laugh are great. And then this book is supposed to be super, super funny. It's called The Plight Before Christmas, an unexpected romantic dramedy by Kate Stewart. I'll link all these books below. I wanted to read this last year, but I just didn't get around to it. So I think I'm gonna put this as like one of my first Christmas books to read because it just looks like it's freaking funny. Don't even know what it's about. It just looks like funny, and I've heard great things about it. Like so many people have said it's hilarious. I guess I'll read the back. It says, Clark Griswold was onto something, at least with his annual holiday meltdown, and since the last 3 weeks of life have been riddled with humbug, another breakup, a broken toe, an office promotion I deserved and didn't get, I'm not at all in the happy mood, or in the mood to celebrate, nor have the happiest Christmas ever. When Mom insisted that we all gather at my grandmother's ancient cabin for an old school family Christmas, I fully intended to get into the holiday spirit with the help of the three wise men, Johnny Walker, Jack Daniels, and Jim Beam. But those boys did absolutely nothing to offset the shock or temper the sting of seeing my ex on our doorstep the first day of our holiday soiree. Apparently Santa missed the memo, and this elf is pissed. Stuck for a week with a man who obliterated my heart nearly 2 decades ago, I did the only thing I could do and put on my game face, thankful for the home advantage. I knew better than to drink that last cup of eggnog. I knew better than to get tongue-tangled beneath the mistletoe with the only man to ever break my heart. I knew better than to sleep with Santa's wingman on the eve of the Lord's birthday. I could blame the nog, I could blame the deceitful light blue eyes, thick angelic hair, and panty evaporating smirk, but mostly I blame Eli because he always knew exactly which of my buttons to push. I foolishly thought a family Christmas filled with nostalgia was going to turn my inner Scrooge around, but this year's festivities went up in flames. Leave it to the ghost of the Christmas past to be the one to light the match. Fa la la FML. Like that just sounds so funny, and I wanted to read this last year and I never got to it, so I think I'm gonna put this like top of the list. Now let's get into the books that don't have spice or have minimal spice at least. It's really just these two. Only for the Holidays by Abiola Bello. This says a winter ball, 2 single strangers, the perfect fomance, and it's an enemies to lovers fake dating romance with the promise of a sweet happily ever after. So they have to like go to a dance, it looks cutesy and fun. And by the same author, I have Love in Winter Wonderland. And this one, it says it's a heartwarming and romantic read. It's a gift that keeps on giving no matter the season. I'm pretty sure they like work together at a local bookshop and they have to like save the bookstore. I think it's like Going Under or something like that. So looks very cutesy by the same author. These are also by Black authors as well. And now let's get into the books that I can't tell you for sure, but I think they're gonna have like depth to them. Again, I'm not for sure because I haven't read all of these authors, but I'm just taking a guess here. The first one is Novel Christmas. This says a prominent romance author has a slump in her love life and book sales, but a chance encounter with the hot firefighter helps her reignite her muse in this swoony holiday romance perfect for book romantics. And I thought it would have the most depth because it like just says that it's perfect for book romantics. Like it just kind of gives that. So yeah, it looks like it's good. Don't know what it's about. I know it's by a Black author, and that's literally why I picked it up. I also picked up this book, which it's set around Christmas, and I picked this up because it is actually in Illinois. And it says, with all the warmth and sweetness and spice of a good chai latte, I'll get back to you as a giddy love letter to the unending journey of finding yourself. And that's why I thought it would have depth, because it's not just talking about like the dating, like romantic part of the book, but it's also talking about like other things too. But it is a cutesy romance. And then this book, Frigid by Jennifer Lynn Armentrout, comes out in November. I've read 2 books by this author. One I really loved and one that was like just okay, but I feel like both of them had a lot of depth, so that's why I think that this is gonna have that as well. It says, no one could replace me in his life. I knew that. I was the friend who knew everything about him and whom he trusted above everything else. If you want to get the back of this book, I actually read the entire like back in one of my last videos when I went to Kentucky, and that's where I picked up this book and got it as an advanced reader copy. And then I also have A World Without You by Caitlin Moss. I haven't really heard anyone talk about this, but it does look really good. I'm gonna read the back of this one. It says, 5 years ago, Olivia Baker was snowed in, stranded in a small town, unable to make it back to the city for Christmas. 5 days later, she broke up with her corporate boyfriend in Seattle and made the rash decision to stay in the small town, promising to save the local paper and fall in love with the rugged country boy who knew how to sling an axe and make her weak at the knees. Now, 5 years later, she's miserable, signing divorce papers and wanting back the life she had before that Christmas. But when she goes to sleep at night, a new world wakes up and she gets to learn what would happen if she lived in a world with the man whose heart she broke 5 years ago on Christmas Eve. Armed with her beloved camera, her childhood friend, Bennett Holland, and glimpses of what could have been, Olivia has to wade through the Christmas season as she rediscovers herself and rectifies a love she's been missing for years. But as it starts to fall apart in the parallel universe, Olivia has to realize that if they were never meant to be, or simply meant for a second chance in a different world. So those are all the books. I will link all of these below. I hope I gave you guys lots of book recommendations. I'll be giving more on TikTok and on Instagram, so you guys can always check there because I talk about books there, and I'll be doing like book shopping for Christmas books very, very soon because it's literally my favorite holiday. I love Christmas. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe because there's new videos every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.